Killer vampire puppets? It's gotta be Full Moon. Subspecies is a 1991 horror film from director Ted Nicolau. The movie opens in probably a model castle stand. No, wait, this was the one they filmed in Romania, so it's an actual castle. We head into the tall man's summer home. That's the weirdest freeze pop I've ever seen. In walks the vampire Radu, the inspiration for at least 50% of all black metal bands. Radu confronts the old man, his father, the vampire king. I love Angus Scrimm, but that George Washington wig is awful. My god, look at those hands. I'll bet he keeps Mrs. Radu plenty happy. Radu's upset because even though he's the firstborn, his father wants to give the mantle of power to his brother.
Did you think that I would stand by and let him assume the mantle of power?
Do you have a lozenge? My throat is killing me. Radu demands the bloodstone and the king traps him. Radu then breaks off his fingers. Oh snap! Oh look, they have a delicious cherry filling! His fingers morph into tiny demons? I didn't know vampires could do that! I can't do that, I didn't know you could do that! They hop on the throne and free Radu. Radu kills the king. Aw man, we didn't know you were gonna do that. Not cool, bro. Meanwhile, two girls from America, Michelle and Lillian, are visiting their friend Mara in Romania. They don't have anywhere to stay, so a friend is letting them bunk at the Prejmir Fortress. Although, shouldn't they have arranged for some sort of reservations before they travel to another country? Well, as long as they steer clear of any hostels in Bratislava, they should be fine. Just out of curiosity, let me see. That's at least another 20-hour train ride. Yeah, they should be okay.
What a cute little car. Hey, it's a Trabant. It's made out of cardboard. No, seriously?
With how shitty this car is, I can't tell if she's being serious or trolling. The girls drive their cardboard car all the way to Prejmir. Now I recognize this place. It's where they filmed the climax to Jim Cotta. The soundtrack surely is uplifting. They make their way to the fortress.
Ladies, I am Karl.
Pleased to enjoy the wonders of my eyebrows. Carl tells them this is a historic monument in Transylvania.
We studied medieval history together in school. We're smarter than we look.
I'll be the judge of that. Carl takes them to their rooms and gives them a tour. He tells the girls a story about the night the vampires saved the people of Prejmir. In 3 days, it'll be the annual celebration of that event.
Hey, what's up there?
Nothing, just an old storage place.
Yeah, whatever. What's over there is way more interesting. She finds a room filled with coffins. Wow, look at all this history. I'll show my respect by sitting on it. Carl takes them to the kitchen for dinner. You're welcome. He lets them know there's another guest staying there, a zoologist. Back at the castle, the demons are getting the bloodstone for Radu. Fella, you got some, drool there. The girls explore the area, meeting the locals and photographing ducks.
Hope this comes out. There's barely enough light.
Yes, it is practically nighttime. Inside, Radu does his best Nosferatu impression. I need better padding for my coffin. Lillian tries to break into the castle, but cuts her arm. The girls are reading up about the castle when Stefan shows up. He's the other researcher staying there. The girls aimlessly wander the countryside. The old lady tells the girls about how the gypsies made a truce with the vampires. A gypsy went to Rome and stole the Bloodstone, an artifact that dripped the blood of all the saints. He gave it to the Vampire King so they'd stop killing the villagers. The girls are walking back to the fortress. Hey, I got a great idea! Let's all lay down on this hill and take a nap. I'm sure we'll still be able to find our way back in town in the dark. Now that it's night, Radu comes out of the castle. Yeah, night. Maybe the girls will be able to find their way back after all. Alright, now this is night. Still pretty bright though. Traveling through the woods, they run into Radu.
Hello, girls!
They run away and Stefan saves them. Stefan goes to the castle to find Radu. Now wait a minute. He was wearing this old person sweater coat, and now he's wearing this leather stone cold duster? Turns out he's Radu's younger brother. He finds the king and Radu confronts him. He chokes him and... do vampires need oxygen? Back in the fortress, the girls are sleeping and Radu is creepwalking the halls. Wolverine? When Lillian cut her arm, it marked her for Radu. Stefan tells Carl the king is dead. Radu latches onto Lillian. She is a heavy sleeper. He must give excellent back scratches. Stefan and Carl stop him, but not before he manages to bite her and cop a feel. Stefan goes after him, but he's getting weak because the sun's rising. Radu taunts Stefan, and I had to turn on subtitles to understand what the hell he was saying.
You're too far from your crypt to make it back.
Carl's coffin taxi service comes to the rescue. Now that Radu has the bloodstone, it's vampire hunter montage. Okay, this is really cool. Shotgun shells filled with rosary beads. I'm surprised more vampire movies didn't rip that off. The doctor comes to see Lillian. Well, looks to me like you're suffering from death. Later that night is the festival. So who is the sacrifice for the Wicker Man? I'm just waiting for Nick Cage in a bear costume to punch one of these people out. Stefan's mad they left Lillian alone. So why isn't he watching over her? Stefan has fallen in love with Michelle. Well, that didn't take long. Michelle has a weird feeling, so she goes back to check on Lillian. Mara sees Radu. Yeah, don't run away screaming, just take more pictures. Stealth kill. Michelle heads back to Lillian's room, and how is he in two places at once? She asks Stefan to tell her what's going on. He tells her he and Radu are half-brothers. Stefan insists she takes the other two girls home tomorrow. Ugh, always with the questions, right when I'm getting ready to sleep. Radu has Mara trapped in the castle, guarded by his minions. So Lillian's dead. Guess you should have stayed home after all.
Bring out your dead!
They go to bury Lillian because the villagers will cut off her head. This is an odd chant. Michelle doesn't want to leave without Mara.
If we can find Radu's coffin, we can destroy him while he sleeps.
I know where he sleeps.
Then why haven't you killed him already? They make their way to his coffin, but surprise, he's not there. Since it's instantly night, Stefan wakes up. Lillian's crawling out of her grave. This is why they should have cut off her head.
Rise from your grave.
Carl and Michelle stay in a church while Stefan goes to look for Mara. The demons drop a net on Stefan. No problem, just turn to mist. Oh, not that kind of vampire. Can he do anything cool? Outside the church, Lillian's calling for help. Please come out! I'm totally not a vampire.
We gotta let her in.
She fell for it? Michelle's locked up with Mara. She frees herself and rescues Mara, but she's already turned. Well, partially turned. Her fake tooth is falling out. The girls take Michelle into a room where Stefan is being held. Wow, this guy sucks. He makes Edward Cullen look like Blade. Learn to vampire. Radu's gonna make Michelle into one of his brides. But first he has to suck on his blood teat. He's taking his dear sweet time, but he manages to bite Michelle. Well, it looks like Carl, the human's gotta do what you couldn't. He rescues Stefan and Michelle. Stefan and Radu get into a sword fight. Michelle traps Lillian and Carl kills her. Radu almost kills Stefan, but he manages to fire stake him. Then off with his head! Stefan takes the bloodstone back to his coffin. Since Radu bit Michelle, she's now a vampire. So Stefan bites her to make her like him. Of course, Radu's still alive. Hey, there's still 3 more movies and a spin-off in the series. The movie was filmed in Bucharest, Romania. Filming in Romania gave the film a distinct Gothic look, and with all the ruined castles and architecture, it helped to make the movie look way more expensive than it was. This was also the first American film to be shot in Romania. Originally, the minions were supposed to be men in suits, but the director didn't like the look, so he switched to stop-motion animation and puppets. He hired Oscar-nominated stop-motion animator David Allen for the job. Allen had a working relationship with Charles Band, all the way back to the Empire Picture days with Dungeon Master. The black metal band Marduk did a song about Subspecies called Nightwing. The music's a cover for the theme of the movie. The movie was directed by Ted Nicolau, who did a ton of work for Full Moon, including the rest of the films in the series. He also directed one of my favorite Full Moon features, Bad Channels. Subspecies would go on to be one of Full Moon's most successful franchises, along with Puppet Master and Trancers. The music in the series is some of the best in all of Full Moon. It gives the right amount of atmosphere to the film. Anders Hoven played Radu. He was a Danish actor that took a suggestion from a friend to audition for Subspecies, which would be his first American film. He was excellent in the role, and largely the reason why the series continued as long as it did. His drooling, raspy-voiced vampire was just great. Radu's name is taken from Radu the Handsome, the brother of Vlad Tepes, aka Vlad the Impaler, who is the inspiration for Dracula. The wonderful Angus Scrimm played the Vampire King. He had such a small part in this, and wasn't in any of the sequels. I met him 5 years ago, and for being a guy who played one of the scariest villains in horror history, he was the nicest guy. Even though the movie series started off with Stefan and Michelle, the series switched in part 2 to just being about Michelle. Michelle, in part 1, was played by Laura Tate, but in 2, 3, and 4, it was played by Denise Duff. Like Puppet Master, Subspecies 2 is my favorite of the series. They started off with good ideas in part 1, but it felt like they did a better job with them in part 2. The movie does have a lot of creativity though. The weapons, the oddball vampire folklore, and of course, the Bloodstone. The biggest problem was Stefan. He was a terrible hero. He was the vampire that couldn't do anything vampiric. Actually, in the end, Michelle and Carl were the ones who did most of the work. It's probably why he didn't return in the sequels. Michelle really ended up being the hero. While Bad Channels is my favorite Nicolau film, his work on the Subspecies series is some of his best. The cinematography is grand, and taking advantage of the great location worked wonders on the film. The Subspecies series is some of the highest quality stuff Full Moon's ever done. I wouldn't mind if they brought it back now, just so long as it's not something like Radu versus the Ginger Dead Man.
Cute little car. Hey, it's a Trabant. It's made out of cardboard. No, seriously?